Hello, I'm Coco Rocha, and welcome to our Hangout with Tiffany's, with design director Francesca Amfitheatrof. Also in the Hangout is Aimee Song in LA and Slowey at Elle, Uptown in New York City. Welcome, everybody.
Hi, guys.
How are you, Francesca?
Hi, everyone. I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Very good. This is your first Google Hangout.
It is.
How about you girls? Is this your first Hangout?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. All right. Well, then we have some pros in the house, that's for sure. Before we start, I just want to note some sad news today. We all woke up feeling like a pillar of New York Fashion Week is missing today. Oscar de la Renta passed away yesterday night. Francesca, I know everyone here has been talking about it. Any words on the late Mr.?
You know, I think that Oscar de la Renta really knew women well. He really captured femininity, and he knew how to dress women at every stages of their lives. So he'll be greatly missed.
And Anne, how about there at Elle?
Well, you know, we've obviously covered him. I've been here 16 years, so I've had many opportunity to be going to his shows all those years and meet him and write about him. And, you know, he really was the last of a generation that included Bill Blass. And, you know, I suppose you could consider Carolina Herrera to be in that generation where, you know, they came here in the 70s. They invented American daywear and American elegant sportswear and started catering to, you know, a new society of women coming out of Texas with all that oil money and banking money. And I think elegance, you know, Francesca said it, you know, he understood elegance and the American woman. And it's a very sad day, but he's, you know, been sick for a while, and we've seen that over the last few years. And Peter Copping obviously was appointed design director last week. But yeah, a day of mourning in the fashion world, definitely. Mm-hmm. But thankfully we have Francesca and her wonderful jewelry to cheer us up again.
We do. And Aimee, any last words?
I mean, obviously we're all deeply, you know, sad and mourning, and my condolences to his family as well. Like, I have no doubt that his legacy will still live.
Mm-hmm, for sure. I mean, I remember Oscar was one of the most gentle souls of all of fashion, so he will for sure be missed. But on to talking about jewelry now. Francesca, this has been a busy year for you. I mean, how has it been, this role here at Tiffany's?
It's been amazing.
Yeah.
I've been here now for 14 months.
Wow.
And it's been a real roller coaster. It's been great fun. It's a dream job. Mm-hmm. It's an amazing position to be in, and I've definitely hit the ground running. So we launched Tiffany T 12 months after my arrival. Mm-hmm. And it's been a very busy, very productive, very intense, but great fun year.
That's what you want. You want it to be fun.
Yeah.
All right. So what are you seeing out there in art and fashion and culture that's really blowing your mind? You know,
I've spent a lot of years very involved in the art world, so mm-hmm. I always look at art. I find art to be always on the edge of something new, always to be at the forefront of really conceptual ideas. So I do dive in quite deeply into the art world. And just recently, in the last year, I've noticed that there's a lot of artists who are taking away and eradicating what painting means. And I think that's probably to do with the amount of digital art that there is and the amount of new technology that there is. Mm-hmm. So there's a sort of a removal of information because we have so much of it. So I think that art is beginning to maybe start a conversation where you are actually creating silence, or you're creating emptiness, you're creating space, which is quite interesting. And I think that's something that's really going to be telling, because we have so much information now, we have so much noise. It's quite difficult to just quieten down, you know, the amount of sound that's out there.
I've never heard of it that way, but that's pretty a good theory. I like it.
Yeah. So, you know, I think that with the collection that we launched here, Tiffany T, it was very much about creating a conversation around style. Mm-hmm. And it's, you know, the collection is very much about simplicity. And I think that is something that I've been seeing coming through from art.
Very nice. Aimee, who's got, do you think, the best street style going these days?
street style other than Coco Rocha.
Yeah.
I love Rosie Huntington-Whiteley. I think she looks effortless at all times. You know, she's got the Californian vibe down, even though she's not Californian. Who else? Probably during Fashion Week, Miroslava Duma, who also hosted a chat session with Francesca. I think those two come to my mind right now.
You know, we do a whole list every year of personal style awards at Elle, and the thing that I noticed this season was that there were a lot of new faces and a lot of old faces that were interesting again. And you know, everyone's very much into Carolyn de Maigret right now. She just has a book that came out on French style. Obviously, you know, Emily Weiss of Into the Gloss has a certain look that she works. Leandra Melin chases every single trend and makes it her own in a way that's really delightful. I know people always think like Garant Store is very, very chic. And then you've got people, you know, like the Kendall Jenner obsession and the Lottie Moss obsession. I mean, it's kind of endless. Even girls like Camille Chaillet, who's a British French girl, is working this normcore idea, which gets back to this idea of minimalism. Yasmin Sewell also wears clothes like that where it's more about like you know, taking away, and as Francesca was saying, and making the silhouette more simple. And in some sense, you're seeing a lot of 90s grunge coming back. I mean, even at Vuitton, I see it in East Village, but even at Vuitton, there were a lot of like shredded leggings and stuff. And I'm not surprised, going back to the art point, that we're getting into the minimalism popularity moment, because we're coming off of a Jeff Koons retrospective. We're coming off of, you know, all these bright colors, and Robert Gober working with photography, but making it simple. And I think that what Francesca does with the jewelry is coming at the perfect crossroads of this sort of shift between a lot of color and then kind of moving into this kind of simple, classic beauty. The timing couldn't be more perfect.
Very nice. So would you say that is kind of what the Elle consumer is looking for? Is that what Elle is excited as what are you excited about, Anne?
Well, I'm excited that Francesca's here in New York, because I've known her for many, many years, and she's well, one of the most talented jewelry designers, but she's also a lot of fun. So I'm glad that I get to see her more often. You know, it's really exciting for us at Elle when a major iconic brand like Tiffany's finds the right person and hires the right person to come in and sort of redirect and, you know, give new life and interest to, you know, a fashion customer. I mean, there's always going to be hordes of tourists coming in and wanting to buy the classic Tiffany staples that we're all quite familiar with. But I think we are very much a part of like combining classicism with street style. If you look at like what Dover Street Market sells, they sell, you know, like very conservative accessories with these most outlandish clothing from Britain and wherever. And I think that the jewelry that Francesca's designed with the T collection in particular, it's bold, it's iconic. She reinvents the T in a way that, you know, women can wear every day, and that's something that an Elle reader is really looking for. You know, she's looking for like the giant cuff that she can put on every, you know, night when she goes out for a party, but she also wants pieces that she can just put on and leave on and never take off. And that's something that I don't think we've seen from Tiffany's in a while. So we're really excited about it.
Cool. So Francesca, who would you say you're designing for, or better yet, who is Tiffany T for?
You know, it's interesting because Tiffany is really a brand that's about style. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting to talk about the Tiffany style, because, you know, I always think of that picture of Jackie Kennedy crossing the road wearing a T-shirt and jeans, but then she has one beautiful Schlumberger cuff, but just one. She doesn't have two or three. She doesn't have earrings. She just has that one cuff. And I think that's very Tiffany style. It's knowing also when to stop and how to dress it and how to wear it. So when I think of Tiffany, I think very much about the conversation around the subject of style. Mm-hmm. The Tiffany woman for me is really a woman that is ageless, that doesn't really have, you know, we're a big global brand now, so it's really a woman that doesn't have a nationality. Tiffany, in a way, is a brand that is for women at different points in their life. Mm-hmm. And I think that the Tiffany Woman is, I don't have a sort of a celebrity in mind or somebody that I focus on. I look at people in the street. I love people watching. I've gone all over the world in the last 4 months, and I've just seen that, the collection has been really sort of welcomed and loved by everyone. It's really somewhere that has no geography and no age, and I think that's so exciting. So it's more about an attitude. It's more about an attitude that you have as a person, and it's more about style.
Mm-hmm. Did you design anything for men? Was there a collection?
Oh yes,
of course.
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of love the idea of the way that men wear jewelry now. I think men are just being much more adventurous, and I design a lot of bracelets and a lot of cuffs, and I think men just wear jewelry in a great way. So there's definitely a lot of men that are loving the collection. A lot of men are buying the collection for themselves, which is great.
Nice. All right, so back to Aimee. How do you wear a Tiffany T?
How do I wear Tiffany T? Well, I think Tiffany T, the great thing about Tiffany T is it's actually timeless. That's one of my favorite parts. And also, there's so many different ways to wear it. You could dress it up or simply, wear like with a simple t-shirt, and still, I feel like it's still suitable. And I feel like my personal style is a little bit of mix and match of everything. Sometimes I go with the minimal route, but sometimes I like to look fancy, wear colorful outfits, and I still feel like the Tiffany T collection fits into all of those categories.
All right. But how long did this all take, the process of making Tiffany T? The idea?
It took, from the day I arrived to the launch, it's exactly a year.
Wow.
Exactly.
To the day?
To the day. It's quite amazing. I sort of had it in my mind before I arrived, so I was sketching the summer before I got here. But really, design-wise, we worked on it for about, I'd say 3 months, tweaking, another month after that. Then it was prototyping. Then, of course, you tweak it more when you prototype. It's really the production and the distribution that for the amount of stores we have, it takes quite a while to get it everywhere and to do a global launch, which is, this is the biggest launch we've ever done. And we did it globally. It really was quite a momentous thing for us, I think, as a brand.
I'm surprised it didn't exist in the brand, It's just such a perfect piece for Tiffany, for a woman's wardrobe. It's like,
I know, it's amazing.
Why wasn't it there before?
But, this is a good point you make, Coco. It's it takes a certain eye to see simplicity. And we all know the simplest designs are the most difficult to arrive at. And I think that that's Francesca's genius, is that she can strip away everything down to its basic essence, and there you have the modern thought again. And and that's what women are really looking for. Something truly modern that you don't even realize it's the tea right away. And people see the jewelry on me, and they're like, "Oh my God, I love that!" And then it takes them a while. So there's this added discovery, and I say Tiffany's, and they're like, "Of course." So it's not easy. It looks simple, but it's not easy.
No, for sure. That's why I don't have your job. But it's a genius idea. I love just how simple it is. I'm always one that kind of more is more is more is more.
Are you?
So when you said all that about simplicity, I'm like, wow, that. Believe it or not, I think of social media, we're overloaded with colors. Don't judge my orange right now. But we're just a little overloaded with everything. So I just do love how simple it is, but it's just the perfect, I don't know.
My philosophy is more is more is more is great when you're talking about diamonds.
Maybe that's what I'm talking about.
I don't even in that perspective that it's great.
Tell my husband that.
I will.
Thank you. Well, let's talk a little more about maybe about the engineering element of the collection. How does that work?
So there's a lot of engineering in the collection. It all to really achieve simplicity and to achieve something that feels effortless. There's a lot of effort behind it. So there's, for example, in the bracelets that you're wearing, they are a elasticated gold. So it's using really the property of the gold and technically making it in a way that they just bend and bend back. So it's like a metal with memory. And then the bracelet that I'm wearing, it looks completely simple, but actually it has a hidden hinge inside it. And so it's really easy to take on and take off. So everything's about effortless. Everything is about the fact that you just throw jewelry on, you know, in the day, and you just don't really want to kind of be fussy about, you know, the way that you have to, you know, the practical side of how you put it on and take it off. And it feels that it's completely natural, and it feels part of your body, and it feels effortless. And I think that was something that I really wanted to achieve. These chains that I'm wearing, they have an ability to move in one direction and in another direction, so that the chain is always fluid, so it always falls perfectly when you're wearing it. And again, it's something you don't know. It's something you don't really straight away notice, but once you do, you just fall in love with it that little bit more, because it just feels so great on your skin. So the collection is full of these little innovations, which a brand like Tiffany can do, because it's able to really research and achieve technical advancements in jewelry that is still handmade, which is quite amazing. I mean, that's why I say it's a dream job, because there's no other company that really has this technology at its fingertips, and that is always into innovation. And Tiffany has always been very groundbreaking. If you think of from the days of Charles Louis Tiffany, when it was first, you know, born, to Elsa Peretti, all the way, it's always made these kind of great changes in the way that we perceive jewelry. So it's just exciting to be part of that and to continue in that legacy.
I mean, Anne and Aimee, I don't know you guys, but I base buying jewelry off of how complicated it is to put on my wrist or my neck. How many people have to put on that dress for me, or how many people have to put on that jewelry for me? If it's too many hands are necessary, I'm out. I'm not doing it. It's just too complicated.
Yeah, I'm the same.
This morning when I got these, I was like, thank you. I don't need anyone to help. Although someone helped me. I was like, no, I can do this. Somehow I will be able to do this. No, it's perfect. How about you guys? How do you guys pick jewelry?
I put it on. I never take it off unless it's, you know, a big cuff. It's just, you know, I have 2 kids, and I actually put all my jewelry away. I don't even know where it is. Well, I can't get to it, let's say that. When I had my children, they're 2 and 4, because I didn't want them ripping it off my my earlobes and everything. But they love it, and I'm so glad to be wearing it again. But I had to get, you know, all new stuff, and I just can't take it off. I leave it on. I go swimming in it. I take showers. You know, it's kind of known, you know. It's my personal style, and I wear it every day. And I think women more and more are wearing jewelry like that, except for those Schlumberger moments, which at $35,000 a pop, I won't be affording anytime soon. But Coco, you don't look like you're hurting with that ring there on your finger either.
It stays on. That's it's the one thing that only stays on. I lose jewelry, so
Really?
Yeah, help me with that. How can I prevent from losing jewelry? You must know a secret for me.
Just have to solder it on you.
Yeah, okay. And how about Aimee? How do you choose jewelry?
Well, for me, I'm actually the opposite. I wear jewelry all the time, but the thing is, I wear the same jewelry every single day. I like to mix and match, and one of my favorite collections used to be the Atlas collection. Now my new favorite is obviously the T collection. But, I mean, with the Atlas collection, it's so easy and, you know, effortless to like layer, and like for me, I live a busy life. I travel a lot and I work a lot, so I just don't want to, you know, have to think about what jewelry will go with this outfit and all that. So that's why I really like the Tiffany T collection, because I feel like I could just throw it on and it goes with almost every single one of my outfits.
It's interesting that all of us are answering in the same way, isn't it? It's interesting that we're all saying that we have busy lives and that we want something that it just works with all our wardrobe, all our outfits, and we just want to throw things on, and we want to throw on the perfect chain and the perfect bracelet, and kind of just, you know, and just have something that feels great on, and not have, you know, we don't have the time.
No.
You know, we all live these crazy lives now. We're all busy, families, kids, travel. You just want something that becomes part of you.
And I like that part of, you know, something that works with every wardrobe. That's what I'm noticing with such specific pieces that you might buy. I'll wear an outfit and I'm like, well, I can't wear that today because that clearly doesn't work with that. But this is just kind of whatever I'm wearing for the day. I changed outfits so that you and I weren't matching, because I was wearing white earlier this morning. And it works with everything. That's the thing. I don't want to have to, it's already complicated enough to pick out certain things. I don't have to think even more. So it's great that it's just like one of those things that will always be on your wrist. It's never leaving, or on your neck, and it will work with everything.
Exactly.
So kind of circling back, you said you did a bit of traveling. Where did you go?
So I went to Europe.
Mm-hmm.
This was on my press tour. I went to Europe. I went to South America. I went to Asia twice. So I went to China, Korea, Singapore, Hong Kong. I then came back, and I went to Dubai and Australia.
How many months, weeks?
I was away over a period of 4 months.
Wow.
Again, because I've got young kids.
Yeah.
I split it up and I staggered it. So I was away over 4 months, every 2 weeks.
Wow.
So it was, I went around the world quite a few times.
So in any of those places, did it inspire in coming alive into the designs?
It's interesting. It's so fascinating. I love completely eradicating the preconceptions that we have about women in different countries. And I loved, to see, when I was in Dubai, I just loved meeting Emirati women and seeing how adventurous they are towards modernism. Because you think of Emirati women wanting to wear a lot of very, stone heavy jewelry, big colored stones, and they, completely covered up would just pull out an arm and just show me wearing Tiffany T, and they say, look, my arm is much more beautiful now, which was just fantastic. And then in China, it was fascinating again to see how quickly the pace is and how much taste is changing so quickly. I didn't go to Russia, but I've been to Russia a lot. I didn't go on this instance, but it's so interesting that you mentioned Miroslava, because in Russia the taste level has just become so uber sophisticated so fast. So I think sometimes we have preconceptions of how people dress in different countries, and that's just changing so quickly. So it's brilliant. I love Korea. Korea is a country I've been to a lot. I go to a lot. And I love how well informed they are and how aware of fashion they are. And, I love all the kind of K-pops, boys and girls, which I hung out with a lot. And it was just fun, Korea. It's just really great fun. Australia, love Australia. So I had a good time. I mean, it was hard work. It was hard work. Okay. I promise. But I also had a great time.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. And I just heard this morning that this is the first time in history there's waiting lists.
There is waiting lists. I didn't think it's the first time in history.
No?
I'm sure
I'm
sure when Elsa first launched her collection, there were definitely queues around the block. I mean, she's a god, really, for me, and I think for a lot of people, she's definitely up there in the sort of pantheon of great designers. So she definitely had, lines outside the store. We do have waiting lists, and we have sold out of in a lot of countries. So it's been very, very well received. It's very exciting. Yeah,
well,
absolutely.
Congratulations on that. And Anne being your #1 Uber fan, like, I got to get part of this fan club. What does that mean to a company when well, we all know what that means, but in working at Elle, to hear that a big brand like Tiffany's, there's a waiting list on such a simple jewelry, what does that mean exactly?
Well, I think, we've got another iconic hit in the same way that, Francesca was talking about. It's going to have longevity. It means that the T brand will be around forever. And I think it also can signal a bit or push the needle a bit in fashion so that, you're going to see other jewelry designers probably taking up the minimalist banner and rethinking their work, because things have been quite baroque for the last decade and quite colorful. And, speaking about it, it's almost, I don't want to say it's tribal, but these kind of simplistic ideas work so well with our wardrobe, but they also speak to, something in us that, brings out an artistic response. And I think that's one of the reasons why it's so popular, because, so many people can relate to it. And, that's, again, I just have to stress how difficult it is for a designer to hit a home run like this. So congratulations.
Well, we have one question from Twitter. Rachel Layton says, what's your strategy for continually capturing creative and fresh designs?
Ooh, thank you for that question. I mean, I know this sounds really sort of quite silly, but gut instinct.
Yeah.
I mean, just throw yourself in there. I very much, you know, as I said, I'm one of those people that really absorbs what's going on around the world, and I tend to like have a ferocious curiosity when it comes to culture.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow that transforms itself into really what I feel is important right now, and it's very much gut instinct. It's very much what you sort of smell, you know, you sort of sniff out that is relevant,
Mm-hmm.
you know, for the brand, for myself, for other people. And I think, you know, you know, I'm a woman. I'm of a certain age. I'm a mum. I work. I travel. There's so many things that different people that will buy the jewelry relate to me, you know, and I relate to them. So it's you know, the symbiosis is there. But I think it's very much following what I feel I would really love. You know, what I would love my friends to wear, or what I would love all of you guys to wear. So it's very much following what you feel.
That's great, because there's a lot of people that think they have to follow what is in style, and I kind of hate that word. You know, what's the trend?
I can't do that, because I think that's already in the past. So I don't.
And that's why you have this job. That's why you're in that seat, and I'm over here. Before we all go, do we have any last words, Aimee?
I mean, I feel like exactly what you just touched base on, saying that, you know, nowadays people want to create things that what's popular and what's in demand. But I feel like, Francesca, what you've created with the tea collection is you're telling the women out there that they need this. Like, people like me or like somebody on the street who sees the jewelry, they're like, wait, I've never seen that before, but I think I need that, please. You know, like, people don't even realize that they've needed it until they've seen the collection. And I feel like as a designer, that's one of the most important things to do, to tell the consumer that they need this product.
Thank you. And how about you, Anne?
Well, I just can't wait to see what you do with the high jewelry collection.
Yeah.
Coming soon. Yeah, no, I mean, once that's a whole nother ball game, and obviously it's a whole nother customer. But you know, I have a feeling the creativity will be just a real delight and a treat. So I'm waiting with bated breath.
You'll be wearing that when you're doing your washing your kids, right?
Well, if I can afford it, it's never coming off.
Well, thank you, Aimee and Anne, for taking the time out of your busy schedules and hanging out with us today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
All right, and thank you, Francesca, for hanging out with me and chatting about the tea. I mean, congratulations. You've really informed me about simplicity, about something that captured so many. I mean, Anne is your best buddy.
She's my fan.
She's the fan of fans. I only wish I had someone like Anne. But it's true. I mean, what you've done, such a simple thing, but yet no one has thought of it. Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's amazing. And thanks again for hanging out on our Google Hangout. You did it. Your first
really
Hangout.
Enjoyed it.
Was that really hard?
Great. Not at all. This was fun.
Okay, good. Well,
thank you.
Thanks again. And
Thank you
thanks
for
everyone
hosting.
that's watching, for sure.